Well, it was something on the Microsoft Tech Community, and it was about strengthening your workflow through generative AI. So it's geared towards people doing research.
Mhm.
And it was really interesting because it actually focused on things that were practical for me. When I was looking at it, I was like, okay, this is really interesting. It's using the Copilot chat tool. You could insert any other tool into it, but it was talking about the way you can synthesize research, whether you can get writing support, whether you can analyze data. So it's like really tangible things that researchers are using. And just doing courses myself in Adelaide Uni, there's not a lot of support there for you. You kind of left to it on your own when you're doing research degrees because you sort of, I suppose, old enough and stupid enough to be able to go off and do your own thing. Whereas if you're doing undergrad stuff, you might have to go through courses around AI and
Yeah.
AI integrity and things. But I thought this was really good because it was really practical if you're a researcher or doing some further study. But what did you think?
Yeah, I loved it. And just to echo your point, I didn't think that much of anything was specific to Copilot Chat. So yes, I can use it with any AI system because it's
Mm.
teaching me about how to use AI for research. And then the second thing was, yeah, I'm sure in the context of traditional researchers, it's useful, but I actually think it's useful for anybody. Now, it's a 54-page document, so you need to wade through quite a lot of information. But here's what I liked. So it didn't treat AI as a place to go to get answers. AI is an interface that produces plausible text, not truth. And I think that's a really useful framing for the kind of way that we think about AI can help with research. It's not, it goes and finds the answers for you, but it does some work alongside you and gives you drafts that you then start working with, not that you regard as the finished product. The second thing is it talked about appropriate reliance. So I thought this was really interesting. It said the real risk here is not just that you overuse AI or over rely on it, but that it's miscalibrated, that you accept something that looks smart and looks like the finished product, and you therefore over rely on the AI's results and don't put your own self into it.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I think there's oh, AI is rubbish or AI is brilliant, but actually it's got a role to play.
Yeah, yeah. So it was really good. I thought it was quite easy to digest as well. It wasn't that complicated, and it just landed really nicely for me. Anyway, I thought it was, very very useful, and it's actually a good. It's for a change is like a good positive kind of document that says, hey, you're not sure how to use it in this particular role. This is an example of how you can do it. I think we need more of this for educators and all kinds of industries.
Okay, so the other thing that I pulled out of this, and I would love every researcher to think about this, and I think it's useful for teachers as well, is it talked about prompt robustness. Like, is your prompt working well if one word changes? Like, if you forget to say please on the end of the question, does your prompt
Yeah,
give you different results? It's actually an important question because you might say to somebody, oh, put this in. And if they put please on the end, they might get a completely different result or some other question, reorder the sentence, for example. So it then said, when are you going to publish this stuff? Just like you would with a research project in a chemical lab, document what you're doing. Which
yeah,
prompts did you use? Is the prompt available for other people to look at to replicate your research? What model did you use? What date did you do it on? What custom
yeah.
instructions is that model working with? You would do that if you're doing an experiment in a Petri dish.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so you do have to record that when you're doing experiments with AI and research with AI so that other people can come along and look at it. And two things. One is they can understand how to repeat it, but the second
Mm.
is that they can look at how to improve it as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My supervisors the other day just said to me, you just run through your AI tool just to look for gaps. If you document didn't address in the gaps, or if there's anything missing, it's a proactive way to use AI,
Mm,
which is great. I love it.
yeah. Yeah. It also has a section around cognitive debt. We've talked about that a few times this year already. This issue of if you over rely on it, then are you switching your own brain off? And turns out that's a problem for adults just as much as it is for students.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well,
Okay.
it's been great.
Yeah, it's a great paper. It's a long read. Stick it in your pile of things to read or give it to your AI and ask it a question a day for 2 weeks to give you something that you can do some work with.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.